Sometimes people have a story to tell. It could be a story of triumph or a story of sorrow. However, it's their story. It's important to keep their story authentic, in their own words, and delivered in a delicate way. That's where Unfiltered Discussions podcast comes in. I'm Brian Howard. I talk with my guests about tough subjects and pivotal moments. I'd love for you to hear their stories. Subscribe to Unfiltered Discussions on your favorite podcast platform. Let's ensure their stories are heard.
Hi, this is Colin.
And this is Paul.
And we are the hosts of Seismic Cinema Podcast.
You are now listening to the Bleach Bros with B-Word and Jake the Hater, and you're in for an absolute belter of a show.
Thanks for all the dirty talk. Come back and get sanitized.
Welcome into the Bleach Brothers podcast. This is B-Word, and as usual, I am here with my buddy Jake. Good buddy Jake, great buddy Jake, all the Jakes.
I think we need a new adjective. Like, I love adjectives because when I learned what they were, they made me excited. Like, slimy was my favorite adjective growing up because I realized that it was something. Moist. I could be your moist.
Yeah, buddy. Moist buddy Jake, slimy buddy Jake.
But I think yeah, I would love the fans of the show, the salty hippos out there for our nation, to come up with a good adjective for me, which here's my favorite part too. I'm going to get so much fucking hate. Like, it's just going to be like that fucker, that cuntard, whatever they say. I can't wait for that. So let us know what B-Word should start introducing me as
so basically
buddy,
what you're saying is that you're non-binary and you want your own adjective.
Is butt buddy an adjective, or is that a noun or a verb, or like, how do we look at that?
That is a noun.
So it's a noun because it's a thing.
Correct.
But butt buddy implies we do a verb.
Correct. Yes. And I would...
It also could describe that I'm gay, which is an adjective, right?
That would be a descriptor. So yes, that's an adjective. However...
So it's an everything.
However, that would be an adjective. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. English.
Wow, look at me.
English, wow.
Look at me. English is hard. I hate fucking English, dude. English is so, dude, it sucks so bad. English is the worst.
Did you excel in English when you were a kid?
Fuck no. You know what's going to surprise you? You know what I excelled in? And you know this about me. I excelled in math, and I excelled in science. I was really good at science. I was really good at math. I suck at geography. You know what? If Jeopardy's on, and they ask you to name a river, I know like 3. And I yell the same 3 out all the fucking time. Here's the thing. I don't even name the big ones. That's how stupid I am. I don't ever say Congo or Amazon because I'm like, no way. I say the Yangtze, which is probably pronounced wrong. I say the Yellow River, and I say the Snake River. And that's about it. I can give a fuck about Mississippi. I can give a fuck about Colorado. I can give a fuck about the Amazon and the Congo. So whenever Jeopardy asks me a question, I know it's not none of those big fuckers. So it's just those 3. And I'm never right. I don't know where cities are. I don't know capitals of shit. I don't care. If you tell me I'm going to go somewhere, cool. I'll look up where I'm going. I'll find some restaurants. I'll have a good time. But I just found out that, there's somewhere my church went for a mission. And I thought it was Africa, and it was South America. Like, that's how dumb I felt.
Yes. The hater does go to church. I would like for all of you to know that, because you'll probably be surprised knowing that. But yes, you What's that song? And dude, we're probably gonna get canceled. But it's like going down to the river, like whatever that song is. It's a terrible thing that I just said right there. Anyway, so we've got a pretty interesting.
I wouldn't know the river. It's probably the fucking Yangtze River, B-Word, or the Yellow River.
Vertical thing right there, horizontal thing right there.
The moist river.
The moist river. So, as a kid, we already talked about your inability to spell and speak and adverb and verb and noun and all that sort of shit. However, you and I both grew up playing sports. Now, you have talked extensively on this show about how your dad really wanted you to focus a lot on baseball. But outside of baseball, and even talk about baseball, what sort of sports did you play growing up?
I played football in junior high and was terrible. I was too small. I was tiny. So it's like, I remember, you didn't go to junior high with me because you moved away during those years. You went back to Beatty. They didn't even have a helmet or shoulder pads that would fit me. That's how tiny I was. That I had to wear 2 bandanas on my head to make the helmet fit.
You had to double bag it?
And then, yeah, dude, I was one of those. Like, so I wasn't great at that. I was a decent basketball player in like 5th grade, and then that just went to shit. I was good at hockey in the sense of like for me, and nobody else really played it, so I looked pretty good. I was good at baseball. I played every sport. I'll say that B word, but I didn't excel at them like I did at baseball. Like I was the type of athlete like this. Like everybody knew I was athletic. They knew I was an athlete. So it's like I could hold my own out there. But I also had the wherewithal to know that I was not great. And, you know, I would be like, if I played football, I like had one position. Like, I know everybody has a position, but you know, those guys growing up, yeah, you're like, oh, I'm going to be this guy or that guy, or I could go into quarterback, or I can go into receiver, I can be a running back, or, you know, I was a cornerback. That's all I ever did. I'd come in for a few plays a game, could barely tackle anybody because everybody ran me over, and that was about it. So by the time I got to high school, though, I finally started bulking up and getting a little bigger, where it's like, okay, I could play these, and my dad wouldn't let me. But like I played damn near everything. You know, I even raced like BMX and stuff like that. I didn't excel at anything else like I did with baseball. I think that was the other reason. It was like I was good at that. Right. You knew I had a high level at that, and then everything else sort of just came like whatever. What about you?
I played. So I remember the very first sport that I played was soccer, and I didn't like that at all. Mainly because they said, "Hey, run all the way across the field," and I didn't understand or the pitch. Sorry, didn't understand any of the rules. I always wanted to be a goalie because I thought the goalie was cool, but like I was never anything that was worth anything, and I was always, you know, sitting on the bench pretty much. So I didn't really like that. But I remember playing Little League. In Little League, I was good at everything but like pitching, like outfield. I love the outfield, love third base, love shortstop. I was pretty decent at first base. I couldn't catch to save my life. And they had me pitch actually once in a game. And it was one of those where the pitcher had actually, they were on a pitch count. They hit the pitch count and they were just like rolling everybody through the pitchers. And I remember I went up to the to the bag, and I did the cross on me because like that's what I saw in MLB, you know what I mean? And then I like tossed these balls at everybody, and they were legitimate balls. They were in the ground. They were off to the side. I think I walked everybody, and we lost. It was terrible. But I played basketball. I was pretty good at basketball through middle school. I played football. I was decent at football. I wouldn't say I was great at football. But that's pretty much it, dude. I wrestled for a minute, and I started wrestling actually late. So I came in after the season had started, and I was actually pretty good at like getting people down to the ground and all that sort of stuff. But what was funny was they had made a pact that nobody would drink a soda, and we were on an away game or an away meet, and we stop in like some store, and I got a Pepsi, and like everybody just like looks at me, and I wasn't there for when the pact was made, and I'm like, I'm gonna drink the fucking Pepsi. I just bought it, like, and that was kind of where wrestling lost my interest. But that's pretty much it, dude. I mean, I don't know. I was more into pussy.
I will say you were. Two-parter then, because like the one thing I liked about a small town, the one thing I hated is like, you know, growing up in Pahrump and you growing up in Beatty, you know, playing sports is like when you traveled, like we would travel to White Pine, and you're like, what fucking idiot decided it was a good idea for us to play fucking Ely or White Pine? Like you would be on the bus for like 8 hours to go play 3 hours.
Well, we would play like Moapa, and we would play what was the other Faith Lutheran and Virgin Valley, and you'd get all these places. And then when I was in Beatty, we'd actually play State Line, which is up here by Lake Tahoe, or Incline Village, sorry, and Virginia City and those places. I will tell you, man, like as we got older, those traveling like in the back of the bus, like that was the place to be, dude.
That's because you were into pussy. Like I was taught of that mentality. Like I couldn't let my legs get weak. Like, so I didn't do anything because my dad would tell me stories like, when I was on a team back in the day, we weren't allowed to get blowjobs from girls because it made your legs weak. And I was a pitcher and stuff like that, you know? And I don't know, I hated the trips because like I hated the fact that I had to sleep on the bus because baseball, I don't know. Tell me if this was the same because baseball, I remember we'd get to the field at like 3 a.m. on a Friday. That was the one thing about small towns that people don't get. Like, they're like, you don't play on the weekends? It's like, no, we play the middle of the week. I know high schools do. But we also, like, we would be out of school because they're like, what? Like, Vegas kids would be like, no, we go to school and then we just go outside at the end of it. And like, yeah, but we have to drive 8 hours to fucking go play shitty White Pine.
Anywhere that we went to,
we got to leave at 3 a.m.
Anywhere that we went to was like a 3 or 4 hour drive at minimum. At minimum. I will tell you this. No, I was never at the field at like 3 a.m. But one of my favorite trips was actually, and you may have been on this one, to be honest with you. Did you? Yes, I think you were. I think we have a picture somewhere. I don't know if you have the picture.
Choir.
This was the choir one, where
the choir one at UNLV.
Yeah,
yes.
where we had a lady who will remain nameless on the podcast, and Butt Gizzard, and another man who will remain nameless on the podcast. We were playing Truth or Dare in the back of the bus, and I dared for the lady to basically put the genitalia in each. Or
suck his dick.
Yes. And tell me which one was bigger, and it wasn't Butt Gizzard's, which I thought was just absolutely hilarious because that was a deflating moment for him. But I don't know, man. Some of that stuff was kind of cool. I will say, just from obviously from a nostalgia purpose or a memory purpose, like there's a lot of cool things that we did that didn't involve sex too. But what I will say is that when I think of our youth, I think of some of the things that I did that I don't know if people do nowadays.
I agree. I think use has changed because what I was going to ask you on those trips was, what was your go-to snack?
Oh, dude, Gatorade for sure. Gatorade, 100%. Okay. Sunflower seeds, and probably like Doritos or oranges or something like that.
What kind of Doritos do you like? If you say Cool Ranch, I hate you.
Back in the day, it was the original Doritos, the red bag, the nacho cheese Doritos.
I was a Cheeto Puffs fan.
Oh yeah,
everybody gives me shit because I like
Puffs better than Cheetos.
I was a Wild Cherry Pepsi, Cheeto Puffs. I loved Laffy. Like back in the day, it was Tangy Taffy, the big Laffy Taffies, the giant ones. The cherry one of that.
Slim Jims.
Beef jerky.
Yeah.
Beef jerky. But see, I was that guy. I would go buy like that slab of jerky that looks dry as shit, like a piece of leather, so I could chew on it the whole fucking ride like a dog. I loved that shit. And the
jerky chew. So the little.
I used to have that.
I used to use the jerky chew because I thought it made me look cool.
Mm-hmm. Me too. I used to use it on the field. I'd get in trouble all the time in baseball games because they'd come and inspect it and everything.
Well, see, that's
because guys were they were getting caught mixing it. They would mix both.
That's the other thing that I used to do is the big league bubble gum or whatever that was.
Big league chew, the bubble gum. Yeah.
That when I was playing baseball, I thought that was cool.
The worst part about all the snacks was the piston in the bottle.
Was it that?
Because you either had to. Well, dude, because we're drinking a lot of Gatorade and all that. I remember there was a guy named another Jake King Herndon.
Oh yeah.
Because he used to piss in fucking Gatorade bottles all the damn time because we'd be on a road trip. You're on an 8-hour drive, and remember the coaches only let you have like 1 or 2 stops. So it's either you're like, okay, I'm gonna piss there. Plus it's dark. It's like, yeah, dude, I pissed in so many fucking Gatorade bottles.
Oh, dude, I've pissed in a ton of Gatorade bottles. Or chocolate milk bottles too, because sometimes we'd get those on the way.
You were a chocolate milk guy.
I like not as much as your brother, but occasionally a chocolate milk was.
My brother's really fucking funny with that, dude. Like speaking of childhood nostalgia, like every night gets like the biggest fucking mason jar that's taller than my dick. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, it is pretty funny. But I guess where we're going with this is that we talked about. Obviously, we played some sports as a kid, but was there anything that you collected as a kid, like? Was there anything that you were like super into?
Yeah, I mean, there were the phase ones, right? Like Pogs.
Mm-hmm.
I had Pogs. I had a lot of Pogs. I used to play Pogs. And then I remember, because also like the Harvest Festival in Pahrump, remember? There'd always be those kitschy booths where it was like you could get a Joker hat and like the crappy t-shirts and say, smack my wife's ass, whatever. And they always sold a lot of Pogs. And I had the big containers and stuff. So that was one. So I would get into those things every now and then. The funny thing is I still have some of the things I collected though. Like one of them, if we can relate both together, I have every baseball I've pitched with, or at least one from every game.
That's cool.
So I have, the problem is there's 2 gigantic baseball bags that are heavy as shit that has all these balls. But it's funny, my wife and me were going through them one time and they're like, I can tell you certain games with certain balls. Because one, I knew the balls they used, or there's one, I remember my first curveball, there's this giant slice in the ball because I threw it so high into the fence, it like almost got stuck. So I do have that. I've kept that collection my whole life. I collected baseball cards, football cards, and the normal boy shit. But like it's like some of it has transcended to now or continued. Like music, I'm a huge music collector,
right,
as you know.
Right.
I have a lot of CDs still, but also just my music collection on my computer. B-word. Like whenever I move, I have 2 briefcases in my bookshelf, and they're full of CDs, and they're data discs of my iTunes library. So whenever I buy a new computer, I can convert everything over because iTunes gave up giving me like a time, like, you know, it'd say like you have this many hours. It started going to days. And the last I checked, I think it was like you have 298 days worth of music.
Jeez.
So I could hit play and almost a full year of music will play.
Wow.
And so I collect that and a lot of movies, which I'm now in that debate, B-word. Do I start transitioning all my DVDs to digital?
I've actually started purchasing more DVDs lately, but you know, when I was a kid, so music, I used to actually get in trouble if music had a parental advisory sticker on it, and then I'd get, you know, I wouldn't get necessarily my ass beat, but I get grounded from fucking everything. So music wasn't really one of those things. I did collect baseball cards for a minute, and then I ended up giving it over to some kid because baseball wasn't like when you and I were growing up. Aside from like the home run derby, or not the home run derby, but the home run contest.
That's the home run derby. It's the same.
No,
thing.
not the annual home run derby. I'm talking about Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire going back and forth.
Oh, the race, the home run race.
Aside from that, I didn't really like get into baseball, but I was like huge into basketball. So I still have a whole shit ton of basketball cards. I have a little bit of NFL cards, but I have a shit ton of NBA cards. I've got a bunch of Jordan cards, like, and Beckett's, like all of those things are pretty cool. Like I'm really happy I kept those. I used to collect comic books, but I don't really know what happened to them. And one of the things that I'm super disappointed in is that I actually have a marked poster, like it's actually numbered, and it's the Death of Superman. It's like whatever number out of 3,000. But as I've moved throughout the years, it's gotten ripped and torn and all that sort of shit. And so I'm, you know, that's kind of disappointing. But Pogs were a big thing for me. Marbles originally, like probably before Pogs were a big thing. And then I used to collect Hot Wheels. I never kept them.
I did
but
too.
I used to collect Hot Wheels.
I forgot about that.
And I had this like really cool case of Hot Wheels, and like we'd bring them out, and occasionally we'd like trade them and stuff like that. It was kind of cool. I mean, I think it was kind of cool in the sense that I think for you and I and our generation, that's kind of where we learned how to banter a little bit, like or not banter, but barter.
Barter.
We used to barter a little bit, like, oh, I'll trade you this and this. Oh, that's not enough. Well, let me trade you this and get that in return. And like for Pogs and Slammers and all that sort of stuff, it was kind of cool.
See, I learned to barter at the lunchroom table.
Oh, okay.
Like I have Dunkaroos today. You have a bag of Doritos. Let's trade this out.
I love
and figure
Dunkaroos.
It out. Oh, dude, do you know what was great? Dipping Doritos into Dunkaroos. It was one of those sweet salt. That was my first adventure into sweet and salty land, and I fucking loved it.
Wow.
I used to take chocolate Dunkaroos and dip cheese Doritos into it, and it was impeccable when I was in 3rd grade.
Wow.
It probably sucks now, but it was great then. But no, I collected basketball cards. It was one of those ones like I loved the sport, but I didn't think the value was as high for the cards.
Right.
Like it's almost that regret. Like I'm going through my baseball cards now and I'm looking online, and the online market sort of killed it where I'm like, that one's worth 10 cents. That one's worth 90 cents. And it's like, I'm just going to do that stupid thing one day where I'm going to walk in and just sell it bulk and not go through all the value because I don't want to hassle with it. I had a little bit of comic books. I did have 2 lame ones, B-word. And I will say that it's actually 3 things I had. One, when I grew up hunting a lot growing up,
right?
As you know, one of my things was whenever we were on break or on the weekends, I would get up super early and go hunting in the desert, and I'd hunt quail and rabbits and stuff, right? And I always was out with my gun. I would collect quail's feet.
Oh, okay.
Every year, and I'd hang them from my jacket. Every year when I do it, and I'd see how many I got for the year. Me and my brother would have a contest with that. A lame one was I collected folders,
like
for like my Trapper Keeper.
Oh, jeez,
like for school.
Stop.
Okay, I collected like those animal folders. Like, do you remember when we were kids? They'd have those animal folders, like playing sports.
You're so gay.
I know. I told you. My favorite one too. I still remember to this day. It was an iguana playing volleyball. I'm going to find a photo of this and send it to you. I loved those things. I would go to freaking Smith's. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember you go to Smith's and they had that school section, like that little aisle. And I'd go over there and I'd look to see which new folders they'd have. And I remember I had a job at like 10 and I would buy these folders and get so excited for them. And then the last one, which is even lamer, is I collected mini figurine like statues of animals.
You're so stupid.
I had a little cabinet. I don't know how you never saw this. Did you ever notice in my room I had those little remember my room in high school?
Yes, but I don't remember these little figurines.
Okay, I had these little cabinets that made of wood. And I had all these little my favorite one was a Siamese cat inside of a bag. And I had so many of these in my room.
Dumb.
I don't know how you never saw
you're
this.
so dumb.
I had that, and here's the best part. So some of them were dumb. I had a Roadrunner, from Looney Tunes,
Right?
Like a rubber Roadrunner. I sold that thing a couple years ago for $35.
Oh,
I sold a crappy Godzilla. I'm talking about the 1995 Godzilla. I had a statue of him, right? But it was rubber. The tail was burnt off. I sold that for $50 online for some collector. But here's the thing. I had all those on my cabinets. Yeah, I had little figurines. I liked it.
my daughter has a little collection of Beanie Babies that I have no clue how much they are, but I'm going to find out one day and I'm going to sell them.
They're worth nothing.
They're probably worth nothing. Yeah, you're correct. But so Albert from Violent New Breed, he commented on our Instagram and he said that he collected Pokemon and X-Men trading cards. I never got into the whole Pokemon thing. Even to this day, all the media surrounding it, never really got into it. But I know that was a thing when we were kids, or at least it started to kind of be a thing when we were kids. Seismic Cinema, I think this one's Paul who commented on here. He collected Pokemon cards. Military Micro Machines, dude. I loved Micro Machines. Micro Machines were
the shit.
Yeah. And he also collected Lego Bionicles for some reason, he says. For Too Many, one of the guys at For Too Many, I'm not sure who commented here, but they said Pogs and sports cards. That's right up my alley. Payne Productions, or as you call them, Pagan Productions. Garbage Pail Kids. I also collected Garbage Pail Kids. I thought they were kind of cool.
The cards or the
cards?
What were they?
Well, I collected the cards. I don't know if he meant the cards or the actual dolls. Well, I don't even know if they made dolls. It might have just been.
That's what I was going to ask. Did they actually make the dolls?
I don't know if they made dolls or not. I think they might have just been cards. But he also said Transformers for sure. I would say that I was a Transformer. I'd play with Transformers in the same way that I play with Power Rangers, but I didn't collect any of them.
See, that didn't count for me because I looked at collecting, keeping, because I could say Ninja Turtles then because I had a ton of toys,
right?
But I didn't but I did keep some in boxes, and so to me that was a collection.
Right.
I sold them when I got older.
Right.
But when I played with them, it's I just played with fucking toys. Like when you were saying the Hot Wheels thing, I was the guy that always went and bought the animal style cars, the shark ones.
Of course,
and stuff.
you did.
I liked Hot Wheels better than Matchbox.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
I loved Micro Machines. B-Word, what was something lame that you collected? Tell me.
I don't know.
Come on, you gotta have something. I had figurines.
I don't. I don't know, dude.
Porn.
Pussy.
I bet you collected
in
porn
high school.
age.
I collected pussy. We'll go with that. No, honestly, dude. I really don't know. I probably the lamest collection I have is probably my NFL cards. Just because while there's a couple good cards, you'll find a Deion Sanders or something like that. There's just a shit ton of weird stuff in there. Oh, I had a coin collection. So I would.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, so I would collect coins, and I have a shit ton of coins from Canada that are probably worth nothing, all the Canadian pennies. They're all rolled up in penny rolls and stuff.
Yeah.
I did used to collect Sting from WCW. He used to collect a whole bunch of his merch though. So I've got a dollar bill with Sting's face on it to this day. I don't know if this is worth anything or not.
Well, see, my grandpa collects coins, and he does it in the strangest way or coolest way I've ever seen. So. Big listener to the show. I've shared, you're close with my grandpa too. You're close to my family, but he collects coins and keeps a log in his wallet at all times.
Really?
So whenever he gets coins back, and at one time here's how I learned. So he pulls out a quarter one time and he pulls out his log and he marks it. And I go, what is that? He goes, oh, well, I look for, he tries to collect every year of every style of coin from every mint. So he goes, this is a Pennsylvania one. Because if you look at the quarter, it'll say P or D, right?
Denver.
So Denver that.
Unless they're old.
I don't have
unless they're old,
right.
and then they're Carson City.
Exactly. But what he does is he has it. He's like, oh, this is like, for example, this is a 1977 from Denver. I don't have it. So he marks it and puts it in a separate pocket. And when he gets home, he puts it in his collection. But he has a huge log in his wallet,
cool.
and that's how he collects coins. It's insane.
That's cool. Yeah, I have a little bit of a coin collection. To be honest with you, I haven't inventoried it in years, so I couldn't even tell you what's in there. It's probably been stolen already, and like I have no clue. But I think, coin collecting was pretty cool. Like I would collect coins from different countries, of course, but then I actually got into it a little bit where, like, I have a 1918, I think is what it is, 1918 quarter. And the funny part about the 1918 quarter, it might be quarter or silver dollar, I don't really remember, is that they had overprinted the 1917s, so they turned it upside down and did the 7 over the 7 to make it look like an 8. And it was just it was just done terribly. So I think that those were weird. And then for a minute there, I used to collect all the state quarters, like I had the little state like pamphlet that came out.
I remember that when they announced that when we were kids. Yeah, they'd be like, Nevada's is out this year, and I remember I started to, and then they told me the timeline. And I said, I don't have fucking time for this. So I quit.
Yeah. And the McDonald's glasses. Like the actual glasses from McDonald's and the cups and stuff, like not the plastic stuff, like the ones that were like fine china for McDonald's. I collected those for a minute, and I have no clue what happened to any of those. Like those may have been destroyed. I have no clue.
Do you feel like you ever started a collection, but it never went anywhere? Like because my brother started collecting stamps at one point, and then it never really went anywhere. Like I started collecting keychains at one point because, and this is a true story, I was like in like 3rd grade, and my uncle bought me a keychain holder, which I did not know was a device that existed. Did you know this? It was like this weird roll-up thing where you could clip all your keychains and carry them at all times.
I didn't.
Not on keys. You just carry the keychain.
No.
That's a thing that people do. So like there were times in my life where I would start something like, oh, I'm going to collect rocks. And I'd get like 5 rocks and I'd be like, fuck this, I'm over it. Like, did that ever happen?
Well, no, not necessarily. Like not by choice, but I do have... I'm gonna say this. It's gonna sound so bad, but when my grandma died in 2015, like her entire kitchen was like full of everything to do with roosters. And when I bought my house, somehow I inherited all of that. So like in my kitchen, it's just full of cock. My kitchen just has so much cock in it, and
yeah, you have a big black cock sticking on top of your counter.
I do. So yeah, just a whole bunch of cock in my kitchen. But so yeah, maybe that or pocket knives. Like I remember when I could go buy pocket knives as a kid, like the dollar store would sell them to me. Like I think I could buy pocket knives all the way up until like age 9 or 10, and then after that they stopped selling them to me. I used to buy a pocket knife like every time I'd find spare change, and I just collect pocket knives. Again,
why would they stop selling them to you?
My age. Like there was a thing where I don't know if something happened, but like the store in and of itself just said, well, we're no longer selling it without parental consent type thing.
Oh, I thought you meant like they're like, you can buy up until you're 9.
No.
That's how dumb I am. Wow, they let 9-year-olds. What's your 10? Fuck you. You're too old.
Yeah, no. But no, man, I mean, okay. I don't know. Just weird stuff, dude. It's funny. It's funny what people collect. Like I used to know people who collected plates. Like plates with like Elvis Presley and shit on them, like the designer plates that you'd have the infomercials at like 9:00 at night on the old people. Spoons. Yes, spoons are.
I remember the hanging spoons in my friend's mom's house. They'd be like the state spoons or this and that. Like I have a nephew, he collects postcards.
Yeah.
Like there are those things. Like I think I tried to start a lot of them, and then they just never came to fruition.
Let me ask you this, because you said postcards. Somebody sends you a holiday card or a birthday card. Do you hold on to that shit?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
No, I have
2 reasons.
I have a 1-year grace period. Like you will either remain up on my fridge or you're coming down, number 1. Number 2, I don't know what to do with it after that. So if it's like an actual card, I'm throwing it away. If it's a photo, I'll just put it in a box.
I'll tell you there is this, and it can piss some people off, but I don't fucking care. It also depends on who you are.
Fact.
So there are certain people that they are in my nostalgia book.
Yeah.
Of like, yep, I'll keep that one for a long time. And there's other people like, okay, yep. Not even a year. I don't even do that weird. I'll be like, oh, the holiday's over. Next day, done. Trash. The other thing is though, because I hate a messy fridge, but I have children and my wife loves clutter on it. So I have so much shit hanging on there, like people's like save the dates and this and that, or I've just given up trying to clean it and like remove stuff. So what I do, the reason we keep them too, B-words, my wife does not like to throw them out. I hand her a stack of all of it at the end and let her handle it. So I honestly don't know sometimes if she throws it out or what, but knowing my wife, she catalogs and keeps it just like me, like in a sense, like she'll put it away somewhere. Like she has every card I've ever bought her.
Yeah.
She saves every dude. All right. Another funny thing about that, if we're going to talk about collecting, I'm talking about my wife real quick. She on her phone, I was like, why do you never have data? She showed me the other day. She has saved every voicemail since we started dating.
Your wife's obsessive. Like, I love your wife. I think that she's awesome, but that's too much, dude. Like,
I was
put
like,
it
what
on
do
a
you mean? She goes,
CD
"Oh, I have the very
or
first
like,
voicemail."
you know, like MP3 it.
Oh, I
or
moved it to the
something.
computer for her.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, Joe, she has the very first voicemail I ever left her.
What was it? Suck
Which
my
the worst
dick?
part is they all sound it. No, they all sound the same. No, they all started like this. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. Dude, if you click it, it's the most annoying thing. I want to actually make like a song like, hey, babe. Hey, babe. Hey, babe.
Dude, we
hey, babe.
could do
Hey,
that
babe.
to Lil Wayne's A Milli and just be like, hey,
Right.
babe, hey, babe, hey, babe, hey, babe. On that,
right,
dude,
fuck
let's
that.
make a little bit of money. We'll come right back.
Are you ready for something hot, hard, and heavy? And no, I'm not talking about your stepmom's newest toy, her boyfriend. It is me, Jake the Hater, here with my best friend, the Gnome from Dad's on Dayquil, doing a bi-weekly podcast, the Hateful Gnomes Music Hut, bringing you interviews, bands, talking shit. Hey, we might even shave our balls. A Spreaker Prime podcast.
Bleach Bros podcast is proud to align itself with Jerky Pro, a beef jerky manufacturer established by military and paramilitary veterans.
Available in 3-ounce or 1-pound bags with great flavors such as honey glazed, teriyaki, red hot, apple cinnamon, original, peppered, sweet barbecue, and if you're ballsy enough, nuclear.
Be sure to use our promo code to get some of the best jerky on the market. Use Bleach Bros 5, all lowercase, to take advantage of this offer today.
Welcome back to the Bleach Brothers podcast. We paid some bills. The Bleach Bros Network is growing, B-word. You have a fucking new show.
I do. Yes.
I love it.
Yes, thank you.
Talk about it. Tell people, because I'm sure they're here for me, but they need to be here for you sometimes.
Well, thank you, man. One of the things that I wanted to do is just kind of start this new project. It kind of fell into my lap, to be honest with you. And ultimately, I did the first episode with our friend Nikki, and she was able to vent and talk and cry and, you know, get some things off of her chest. And then I listened to it and put it together, and I went, you know, maybe this could be a thing. And then the second episode was Bleach Bro Mitch's brother. And so we went ahead and, you know, talked about some things that he was going through. And now, honestly, dude, I'm scheduled out like over 2 months with guests, and, you know, it's hard subjects. So ultimately, I mean, we can laugh at farts and jokes and tits and all that sort of stuff here, boobies and subies, but we also have that serious side to us. You know, you have the music side that you're exploring with Gnome that we all do together on the Hateful Gnome. And I just kind of wanted to do this and kind of experience that. Bleach Bros isn't going away. We're just kind of expanding our little network, man. So we've got Bleach Bros, we've got Hateful Gnome, we've got Unfiltered Discussions, which is my new show, and then we've also got Bleach Bro Mitch and his buddy Bobby. They're doing Two Guys in a Dart, and they're doing some good stuff over there. So we're just kind of growing, man.
No, it's nice because we're seeing shows. We're trying to help guide, so new shows and stuff, but also like we've expanded to where it's like, you know, doing this, you have journeys of like what you should do, what you shouldn't, what works, what doesn't. Like, you know, when we first started, we were going to do Jake's Taking B Words of Wisdom. And then eventually it just turned into me being me on this show and doing Bleach Bits and then the Patreon stuff. And then you still having your outlet for the serious stuff. Like you said, not that we don't. We've had some very serious episodes here, but I think it's a perfect outlet for you to have those types of guests and the great discussions you're having. I've listened to the 2 episodes you have out. They are compelling. They are great. It's a great title, to be word, and it's not. I'm trying to toot your own horn because you're my best friend and my co-host, but I want people to know about it because it's doing well. It's sort of like the Hateful Gnome. You helped with that. It's a fun thing that we're into, and that, you know, necessarily, like I've said, like I support you with it. It's not really totally for me. Sort of like you're like, I'm not really into your guys' music, but I'll help and support and do whatever. So check that out. But my favorite time of year is here, viewers.
Yes, sir.
Baseball season has started. Opening day has happened. Baseball is here. It's my favorite sport. Now, here, and there's a love-hate with this, okay? I love opening day. I love the first month of baseball.
Okay.
And then I fucking hate it until fall.
Yeah.
Where the
World Series.
Playoffs begin, essentially, and the World Series. I feel like the season's too long. Do you have that same feeling, or how do you feel about pro baseball?
Yeah, so I love to watch baseball, but I love to watch baseball in person. We've talked about this multiple times. I think that when you start talking about the dog days of summer, like that does become too long. I think just generically sports have become too long. They've expanded the NFL season, they've expanded the NBA season, they've expanded the MLB season. And while I understand why they're doing it, they're looking for competitive edges, they're looking for revenue streams. I do think that MLB has too many games. And the reason why I think that is because it's so hard for me to follow a team because I can't watch the games. Like we've talked about NFL, right? Like I know that they're playing every Sunday or Monday or Thursday, and I know what time to find them, when to find them. I can watch every game. MLB, man, I'm working half the time these games are playing. And it's just really hard to try to keep up on that. And when they're a major league sport and they're trying to have this competitive advantage over other sports, I mean, NBA doesn't play middle of the day, and I kind of get to a point why MLB does it. It's because of, if it's an outdoor stadium, they're typically playing outdoors in the daytime.
It's enjoyable to be in the sun, have a beer and a hot dog, and watch a game. I get it.
Absolutely. So for me, I don't get as excited over baseball as other people. I tend to follow it more toward the end of the season, once the seeding has taken place, once the playoffs start, once you start having the competitions, and then of course I'm all in on the World Series.
See, my problem is just like you, like the degenerate in me likes that I could bet all day, right? Like, but today, my favorite bet is the no runs first inning and RFIs. It's a great quick bet. If you know the pitching styles and stuff like that and how batting's, it's a pretty easy win. I mean, that's why they pay out -105 to -115. They don't really give you plus money on it a lot. But like today I looked and I was like, oh shit, all these games started at like 10:40 a.m. Like who the fuck is playing at 10:40 on a fucking Wednesday?
Right.
I understand some of them are on the East Coast, but I'm still like, okay, that's still fucking 1 o'clock.
Right.
Like, I'm at work. I don't have time. Generations have changed. Like, there's too many games. There's too many series, like in the sense, like 3-game series, stuff like that. And the timing is just terrible. Like, that's why, like, you see the draw for games where it's like baseball night in America on a Thursday night and they're playing the big game. That's great. But then it's like, oh, also, we're going to show you the stats from all the games from 10 a.m. today that nobody fucking paid attention to. Not that I have a problem that it's 9 innings, but that really fucking bothers me because it's like, I feel like I miss so much. And hence why I think people fall out of it going, I care about opening day. I care to see how my team's doing. And by mid-season, it's like, they're 56 and 62.
Like
great.
Yeah. I know a bunch of people who are like super in on their teams. Like, for instance, growing up, you were a Braves fan. Like we talked about that. You were diehard. Now you're a Mets fan, and that's completely through marriage, and you've wholeheartedly bought into that. You've given up the Redskins, and now you're a traveling man when it comes into sports.
Cardinals.
However, the one thing that I'll say is, like, when we grew up, I mean, I was always a Cubs fan and a Sox fan, but I was only those because those were my teams in Little League. And then Matt Williams was a San Francisco Giants. And the reason why I liked Matt Williams was because he came out of Carson High School, which is where I live. And I thought, wow, that's really cool that a professional player has actually come out of, this small little town that we grew up in, or that I grew up in. And so I did follow the Giants a little bit, but I never really followed a team enough to kind of make it stick, if that makes sense. And I think that that's the hard part for me too, is that I'm not bought into a team where I can get behind it and like root for it and try to follow it. You know what I mean? I think I'm like missing that step there.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I think the hard thing for you too is, I mean, one, we've always said Nevada's never had a team, right? So there's already that part. Do you follow the minor team where there's a pro team? Because for a while, I don't remember who I believe the 51s Las Vegas 51s when they were, I don't know if that's what they still are. They used to be the Las Vegas Stars. were the team for the Dodgers, if I'm not mistaken.
They
at
may
first,
have
and I think
been.
it changed.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
The Reno Aces is the minor league team that I follow up here, and they're the minor league team for the Diamondbacks.
Right, but it's so there's like, okay, do you follow that rule? Like, I'm such a diehard of this team that I can follow because I can see players go up and down, or do you go like the proximity, or like you're a big Texas team fan, so that's what I was going to ask. Do you think, since you follow a lot of Dallas sports and stuff, would you follow the Rangers or the Astros?
So,
or do you?
I would not do anything from Houston ever. However, listening to DFW sports radio damn near every single day, I do get sucked into Rangers talk, and I know that they've been a really shitty team for a half a decade, if not a decade now, and they just have not had success. It seems like that's the Dallas way, is that you get a team that's competitive, and then all of a sudden they just suck ass for like the rest of eternity. Right. You look at like the Mavericks, like you had Dirk Nowitzki, and he brings the championship to the town, and next thing you know, like there's just this never-ending drought. So it's just this kind of like DFW thing. I mean, I'll follow it and I'll listen to it. I'll listen to Ranger stuff, but to be honest with you, dude, just because I can't follow it in a manner that I would for a football team or even a basketball team, it's hard for me to latch onto that team. And separately, I think that this is important because as you know, there's some people who listen to us that also follow sports. I don't have any familial tie to a team. So like, I didn't grow up with my dad loving a specific sports team that I adopted because he loved it, or that I rooted against because he loved that other team. You know what I mean? Like, it was never a thing. So it's been really hard for me to catch MLB, to actually buy in and like truly fall in love with it. Like I said, when Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were just tossing fucking home runs over the fence, I was all in it for that because that was cool, but it wasn't like I rooted for anybody.
See, that's what I always found weird about my dad, because you remember my dad was the biggest Redskin fan on the fucking planet, and he had no baseball team.
Yeah.
And it would be weird. He would like go through phases like, oh, I'm an Orioles guy because, I was born in Maryland. But then I'm also a Cardinals guy. And I never really got that. Like, I never really understood where he was going with the teams he liked. Because I latched onto the Braves due to family. Like I've mentioned before on the show, my uncle was the pitching coach for UNLV. He was the coach of UNLV. Then he went to be the pitching coach for the Orioles. And then my cousin was on the Giants. So they were all over the place. But I fell in love with the Braves just basically due to pitching, and I was a pitcher.
Yeah.
And there's no team in Nevada. And my point to that is, do you think if, like, let's say Las Vegas, because that's the city that's going to get a team if they do. Right. If a pro team goes, which I still think it's going to be the Oakland Athletics are going to eventually leave and they'll go to Las Vegas. Do you think you would pick up a team then? Or do you feel like you're just at the point in your life, like, I don't fucking care?
Like I said, I think the biggest issue that I have is not in a sense that I wouldn't like to pick a team. The biggest issue that I have is that I don't think I can dedicate enough time to follow it, to actually enjoy it enough to really get invested into the product that is the team. I think for me, it's really about, I want to see a good game. Like, will I go, assuming that the Athletics go to Vegas, if given the opportunity, will I go to Vegas and watch a game? Absolutely. In the same manner that I'd go to a Raiders game. I would totally go to a Raiders game. It's just about being able to root for the team. Like, I hate Bay Area teams, but I don't hate the Giants as much as, like, I hate all other Bay Area teams, if that makes sense. Like, I hate the 49ers. I hate the Warriors. I hate all of that shit. But I don't hate the Giants. And what's funny is that my friend Angela, she's a huge Bay Area fan, like 49ers, Warriors, the whole works. But she's a huge Giants fan. And that's the one thing that I told her. I was like, look, I'll hate on every single team that you have but the Giants, just because I don't really care. Like, I'm not partisan. You know what I mean?
It really depends on my mood, because I have friends of both teams. And I remember one time, co-host with Sprague, our buddy of the show, Dirt, is a huge Giants fan. And I remember one time, and then their producer is a huge Dodgers fan. And when they play each other, it's funny. But I was one time at an event with them for ESPN Radio. And for some reason, me being the hater, I just walked in and go, fuck the Giants. Dirt just looks at me and goes, why? I go, I don't really fucking know, but fuck them, fuck you. Walked out. And he goes, so you want the Dodgers to do it? Nah, fuck them too. I just in that fashion. So I feel you. I feel it's funny when you talk to people, they're always like, my sport has the deepest fans. I think when you're deep into fandom, you feel that way. Like my brother will say that with hockey.
Yeah.
Like hockey has the greatest fan. But my brother's like he's fucking out of every sport is probably his deepest sport, right? That he loves. Yeah. And so I find some truth to that, but not.
I think
but as a sport,
I think a historical marker for when the MLB started to fall down was the strike. There was a strike in the mid 90s. Yeah. And you look at the steam that was being built up with the NBA at that time. You had Michael Jordan and you had all this sort of shit. And then you had, and I'm not trying to be partisan here, but you had everything that was going on with the NFL, with the Cowboys and all this sort of shit, and the Niners and these competitive teams. It was really a bad time to do a strike, in my opinion.
See, I agree with you, but I don't. Because the biggest thing for me is I think baseball's biggest problem in getting in their own way is they don't implement rule changes, which we're going to talk to about in a minute. It's actually a perfect segue because there was some new rule changes this year, and I want to get your or see what you think on them. But baseball is the slowest fucking sport besides soccer in the world to implement anything new.
Yeah.
Like the one thing I love about hockey is if they have a rule change, it happens, and the next fucking night, every team's on board, and that's just the way it's going to fucking be. Mm-hmm. NFL's a little iffy. NBA is more just depends on what LeBron James and those guys want. But like baseball is like you have a dichotomy of fans where they're always trying to promote to the younger fans to keep the generation growing, right? But the younger fans want something. But then the old guys, the old heads are always like, nope, it's never been played that way. We've always played 162 games. Nope, we can't do this. Because during that time that you're talking about, that's also when they lowered the mound. Mm-hmm. And lowering the mound has a big factor on hitting home runs. And what were they doing? They were loving home run races. So you know what else they did after that? They jacked up the ball. Well, when you make the ball tighter, it goes over the fence easier because it's easier to hit a harder ball farther. Then what did they do? They changed, like, steroids weren't really a thing because it was never really in the rule book. So for me, the problem that baseball has is they never will make rule changes. But the other issue is I feel like the rule changes they make are to appease the system at the moment. Right. So like they were trying to fix home runs. So what did they do? They made it harder for pitchers to be pitchers. And as a pitcher, I was pissed off, right? Because like, fuck you. And they also changed the ball. The other thing that's weird to me that I've never really enjoyed is every field is different. And I understand in soccer, I guess that's a thing. I didn't really know that they can be different sizes. But like football is 100 yards. It's 100 yards. It's the same width. It's the same length. It's everything. But baseball, it's like you could have a field with like a giant, like the big green monster,
right?
For the Red Sox, like that you have to hit over a fucking like 19-story building, or you can have the Royals field where there's like berms in the outfield to make the ball run faster. And that's always bothered me because it's like you can go to one field and they're like, well, this guy's hitting so many home runs. Well, yeah, his right field is 310 yards, and then you go to the next field and it's 307.
Right. Exactly.
Like, there's got to be a little bit of that. Now, I don't know if you're aware of the new rule changes that happened this year, but the three big ones, B-word. But one, before we get into them, do you think baseball needs to change anything to make like people like you become a fan more?
Well, I know that the one thing that they tried to change within the last 2 or 3 years was there was the pitching clock that was introduced. I want to say something on that. And going into like the minor leagues, of course, like that, I just kind of want them to get into the flow. I want to get them have them to get into the rhythm. So sometimes you're waiting on that pitch, and as a fan, you're just like, okay, come on, like, let's go. And I think more or less they made the change for TV. I don't think they made the change for anything else. And I'm okay with making changes for TV, but I don't think that just because your game is being aired on TV that should completely influence the rule change.
I agree. So they implemented the pitch clock this year. So essentially how this works is you get 15 seconds to throw the ball when the bases are empty and 20 seconds when a batter's on base because there's some gameplay, chess play that comes in with that. The way it works too is you're on the mound. The minute your windup starts, the clock counts. So it's not like if it's counting down and it's at 7 seconds and you know your windup takes 7 seconds, you have to start throwing then. If you start your windup with 1 second left, the clock's just done. You're going. Right, because also I'm sure you're aware of the rule of a balk. If you start your motion and don't finish it too many times, there's a ball or a free base and stuff like that. So they implemented that. At first, I wasn't a fan of it, especially because the first weekend it like fucked up. Because if the pitcher's late, it's a ball for the batter. And if the batter's late, it's a strike for them. And the first one out the gate, the guy got a walk when it was actually a strikeout. And so it was this weird thing where everybody's pissed off there and they're trying to figure out the rules. Luckily, it's preseason, right? That's where you work things out. But I actually like it more. It's cut the games down by 28 minutes, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot because I don't know about you, but football games feel too long now.
Yes.
Like everything feel like it's gotten longer, and that deals with TVs and advertisement and timeouts and this and that. But like, it's nicer to see the flow, but it's also nicer to see you can't have these batters taking 19 timeouts and the pitcher just taking forever, and they're playing these head games with each other. It's like, get the game fucking moving.
Right.
So I like that. Do you like, I mean, it sounds like you do, so I believe you're on board.
Yeah, no, I like the fact that the game has a flow. I think if the game has a flow, that's really good. And you're talking about the chess pieces and the head games that go with it. I think that when you have a time clock to be able to monitor those things, I still think that you can threaten the steal. Still think that there's the chess match between the pitcher and the batter, where they're going back and forth. It's just in a more consolidated time frame, and I appreciate that. That's okay for me.
The next one was, I don't know if you know a lot about extreme shifts in baseball.
Mm-mm.
So and a lot of people don't in the sense of this until you really get into baseball in the sense, when we were kids and you played Little League, right? You were a shortstop. You stood where the shortstop was, and if the ball was hit your direction, like, you played for it. There were times like you knew if a left-handed batter, you might move over a tiny bit to accommodate where he's probably going to hit. But an extreme shift is where you line up for a batter or a style of play to accommodate, to help you out. Like an extreme shift is listed where, like, you'll have the first baseman, the second baseman, right? And then the shortstop is also right next to the second baseman on the right side of the field. So they're all on that side of the field. And they've limited how that was. Now, at first, people thought this would be terrible. And honestly, I was like, yeah, but it helped move the game faster. And also, it's helped with pull batters. So what I mean by that, the guys that are like left-handed batters that hit to right field, they now have a better chance to play ball how they want to play ball. So I'm actually on board with that. Now that you know about that, I mean, it's one of those rules I think you're just going to be like, yeah, because it's essentially, it's, like, you didn't even know there was extreme shifts happening.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm as an observer, as a person in the stands, I'm totally fine with it.
So the stupidest rule, in my opinion, is this, because I'm going to ask you this. Did you ever think of the size of bases?
No.
Like, has that ever crossed your mind?
No, not once.
Like, have you ever been like, man, the size of the base just feels too small or too big?
No, never once.
Like, okay. So bases now are increased to 18 by 18 inches. They've always been 15 by 15. Of course, 3 inches, is a lot.
Difference between ooh and ah.
Is a little tough. Exactly. But one, I had that thought of like, I've never thought of that. Like, I've never cared about the size of the base. The base is a base and whatever. But they made them bigger because they said, one, they wanted to make the game safer. So you had less way of running, like stepping on somebody's foot, you know what I mean? And stuff like that.
No, I totally get that. But there's still a way to, like, even with the same size.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
But two, it was all to help with stealing bases. And this is that rule that you're talking about where it's like you're doing it to affect TV and stuff. Because guess what? It is easier to steal bases now when you have 3 more inches to hit before the ball gets
That's
there.
like giving a soccer goalie an extra 3 inches on each side to try to protect the ball from going in.
Right. It's so stupid. It pissed me off. So I hate this rule because, one, nobody ever fucking thought of it. Two, again, just like lower the mound, you've just made it like, hey, let's make the game where there's higher scores, because we've seen it. The other night, the Minnesota Twins were playing. They won 11-1.
Wow.
I mean, these games, they're not just hitting home runs. They're hitting base hits and stealing bases and able to move. Like, it's really bothersome in the sense that you're seeing them manipulate the game to accommodate action. And it's not because baseball doesn't have action. It does. But we've seen it time and time again where it's all sports. And they're like, well, it'll make double plays easier. No, it won't. No, it won't. Because the guy that plays second and shortstop, they already know where the base was. They were not having a problem hitting it when it was 15 inches. It's not going to help them that a little extra 3 inches. It helps a runner because I don't know if you know this, the true stat that I always grew up with, how you knew if it was a good catcher or not to make it pro, is once the pitcher throws the ball and it gets to the catcher, if they can make it to second base within 1.8 seconds or something like that, they're pro caliber. So that means you have to rely on the pitcher throwing it fast enough, and then you having a gun down there. That just went out the window because you've probably eliminated 0.3 seconds, which is a lot based on those.
Well, and if you're a baseball scout, like it just completely complicates everything that you're trying to do when you're trying to actually scout somebody for the big leagues. But speaking of pitchers and catchers, you have a little game that you were going to introduce here. Kind of talk with me about what you were thinking with this, because I'm totally prepared for it and I'm totally down for it. And I think it's going to be hilarious. But what do we got? What do we got going on here?
So it's a baseball theme. I collected figurines. So you called me a name earlier, a little pride flag.
Right.
I essentially thought we should look at gay celebrities.
Okay.
And guess, like I throw you one and you can catch it, whatever you want. But you tell me if you think they're a pitcher or a catcher, because as we know in this industry of ours, there is a term that is coined for gay guys when they take it in the ass or they don't, and they're the pounder, that they are a pitcher or a catcher. So I'm going to start out with one for you.
Okay.
And I want to see. Now, here's the thing. I don't know the right or wrong answer here. So that's the joy of this game. It's like that. Whose line is it anyways? The points don't fucking matter. It's just fun banter.
Now, is this just male?
Only males.
Only males.
Straight up males, because women are not pitching and catching. They're just scissoring.
Okay.
So, Lil Nas X. Do you think he's a pitcher or a catcher?
Oh, Lil Nas X is a catcher. 100%.
Why?
So just looking at his music video style and the way that he dances and the way that he dresses, I assume, and that's, you make an ass out of you and me. I assume that he prefers to do that. However, I do know that he's pitched at least once because I think he has a child. So he's at least served the ball from the plate. But I would think that think that he likes to wear the padded clothes and maybe a mask while he's getting tossed at.
I see him as a catcher. Yeah, I see him the way he twerked on the devil.
Yeah,
I see him taking it.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, no right or wrong answers. It's just interesting. But yeah, I'd label him as.
We're on the way to getting canceled, so let's just go ahead and do it. So there's an actor named Ben Platt. And Ben Platt,
okay.
I think you know who he is. He was in that one movie, where the dude died, the musical, and he was also in the acapella movie, whatever his character was. Ben Platt. Is Ben Platt a pitcher or is Ben Platt a catcher, and why?
He's a catcher. Dude, he's got that mouth where when he smiles, he puts his tongue between his teeth, and that's somebody who likes to suck balls. And they take it. I'm going to tell you that right now. Next time you see somebody and you're talking to them and they smile and they put their tongue between their teeth, that's somebody who's had a dick in their mouth.
I dig it.
Okay, and I understand gay guys might 69 or do whatever the hell they're going to do, but that just makes me think of you're taking it, you're not giving it ever. So he's a catch.
Missionary Impossible. I dig it.
Exactly. All right, so the next one is from Queer Eye for the Straight Guy.
Okay.
I'm sure. I don't know if you ever watched that show.
I've not, but I know who they are.
The nice thing is every guy on the show is gay, essentially.
Right.
But Tan France, he was the one I wanted to pick because I don't know if you watched Community, but he had that sort of like, Abed vibe, like where he's
okay,
like, seems elusive.
Yeah.
So which one? What do you think he is?
He's a straight up pitcher.
Oh,
100%. Really? Yeah, he's so first and foremost, he is the shortest one of the Queer Eye cast. Which, as we know, with short little fucks, especially like dads on Dayquil, little fucks, they like to serve it, right?
They like to hump like
they
chihuahuas.
They do
on your leg.
And so, because he's the shortest, I feel like he probably has something going on with the whole pride thing. And I'm not talking pride in the sense where we're talking about LGBTQ plus whatever. I'm talking about like legitimate pride, like proudness. And I think that he's got a little Napoleon in him, and I think that he struggles with like reaching on high beds and all that sort of stuff. So I'm gonna say he's a pitcher, and he's probably an angry fucker.
I'd agree with you. He looks like a pitcher to me. He looks like the one that he's going to take charge, no matter how tall he is. Like even if he has to just get a step stool to put it in my ass, he's going to do it.
So Sheldon, I'm going to serve you Sheldon. Jim Parsons.
Oh, he is a pitcher. Because he's that one that you're like, does he? And I think he's taken it a few times. Like he's tried the Rocky Road ice cream. Okay. He's taken a few licks. and he's had it. But I think he's a total pitcher. I think he's in control of the situation. That he is the full on. I'm going to go from behind, but he's a reach around guy.
Okay.
He's the guy that gives you the love in the front and all the way through the back. And I don't know if he's doing it to make his dick, make it feel like he's going all the way through like a unicorn, so his dick's bigger,
Right.
or if he's doing it to make sure that everybody's getting off at the same time.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. I think that you're probably correct on that, so I'll agree with you.
Adam Lambert.
Oh my gosh, Adam Lambert is a serving it up pitcher 100%.
What?
Oh, 100%.
No!
Yes, dude. The newest lead singer of Queen is serving up balls, bro.
He's a queen.
I don't care, man. He
lets you come in his Buckingham Palace,
No,
bro. That
well,
guy's a fucking catcher.
he might eventually, but when he gets up to the plate, he's swinging first. He is not tossing the ball. 100, or he's tossing the ball. He's not catching.
Salad.
100%. He is a pitcher.
Fuck you.
He's way too talented to take it from somebody first.
That doesn't have nothing to do with talent.
It
Just 'cause you
does.
like something in your butthole.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
100%. Dude.
Why? Okay. So the more things you put in your butt, the less talented you are.
No, because I think that he's very much like Lance Bass. I think Lance Bass is a giver as well. I think those two.
He's on my list, so fuck you.
I think those two would play tummy sticks, and that's all that would happen. I don't think there would ever be insertion because they would fight over.
Because they'd be arguing.
Yes.
Like I'm doing it. No,
Yes.
you're doing it. No,
yes.
I'm doing it.
They'd be
no, you're
doing belly
it.
button rubs. 100%.
I disagree with you, dude. I totally feel like he's fucking taking it, and I feel like Lance Bass is an anomaly because he's on my list, so I'm just gonna run. He's the switch hitter.
Yes.
He's the guy that could bat left and right handed. I think out of the whole group that we've said so far, he's the switch hitter.
I'm not saying that Adam Lambert wouldn't be a switch hitter. Like I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying.
No, you said people that take it in the butt are less talented.
No.
Just like your list of rappers were all white people.
Yeah. No, I just think that when it comes to first choice, like flipping a coin, you got to call which side of the field he's choosing to pitch. That's all I think.
Okay.
I don't think that he's not taking it. So
that's true.
All right. So am I up now?
Yep.
Dan Levy from Schitt's
Dan
Creek.
Levy, dude, he's a taker, and he's that one that he's a catcher that you're surprised by. Because I feel like when you see him on a date, he's like the man in charge, right? Like he's paying, he's opening the door and stuff. But as soon as he gets home, he becomes a submissive little fucking kitten on your lap. He's licking up your milk. He's on all fours. He is ready. He's like that power lawyer that likes his wife to pound him with the biggest fucking strap on. Like that's how I feel. Like I feel like he's the butch in control, like at all times. Like, yep, I'm the fucking man. And as soon as he gets home, I want something in my ass. I just want it straight up in my ass. Give it to me. He's a catcher through and through.
I'm not going to go into that much detail, but I will agree with you that he's probably a catcher. So
he's super talented.
You probably took it a little too far on the descriptive nature there, but hey, we're not FCC regulated. So who you got?
All right, so. I'm going to give you a football player.
Okay.
Carl Nassib from the Bucks.
Taker. He is definitely a catcher. Definitely a catcher.
Okay.
I think that he's very satisfied in his sexuality, and good for him. I mean, he there was never a doubt as to what his sexuality was. He came out with it, very open with it. I do think that he is very much a catcher, a catcher in a sense that he just doesn't have. I don't want to say he doesn't have the fight in him, and I'm not saying it should be a fight, but I'm just saying that to the point that with the right,
he just enjoys it.
With the right man, he knows what he likes, and so I'm just going to say that. Yeah,
no, I could see that.
So I'm going to throw somebody at you, RuPaul.
I think RuPaul wants to be a giver, but all the whatever hormone, like don't they take pills that like
I
all
don't
that
yeah not
to help like the
not familiar with
I don't
that,
know if I don't know if RuPaul's on those, but like those ones like the estrogen pills or the blockers or something, I think it makes it so their penis doesn't work. I could be wrong. I could be totally fucking unintelligent on this, but I believe it makes it so it's not like the same because it shrinks everything, right? Because it's supposed to give them more feminine qualities. So I believe that he wants to be, or she wants to be a giver, but is forced to be a taker.
Okay.
So it's a pitcher that had to change positions.
Okay.
Due to life circumstances.
Okay. So basically, you got Tommy John going on, and you have to, just like put on the padding. Okay.
It wants to be Nolan Ryan, but it has to be Mike Piazza. Yeah. On her knees. Zachary Quinto.
Oh, he's a giver.
From Star
He's a pitcher.
Really?
100%.
Yeah, he's
100%.
Angry,
No. I just see him more as an alpha personality. Like that,
in control.
Just a personality type. Just he's Spock, motherfucker, and he's like.
I was just gonna ask that. Do you think his man makes him cosplay Spock? Like puts on the ears and like fucking Spocks him in the back.
I don't know, but do you think it's like a pickup line where he's like, "Can I get Spock's cock, please?" Like,
I wonder if it's like, "Hey, I need you to bring me to the deck right now," and like calls him on the comm, and like when he's coming, he's like, "Beam me up, Scotty," and like. I hope his boyfriend's name's Scotty. Oh, dude, that would just make me so. No, and I hope his boyfriend's a Scottish guy. That's going to. I'm trying to fucking fuck you right now.
Trying to fuck
I just can't fucking do it.
Donkey.
Zachary Quinto's a pitcher. Donkey. So put it in my ass.
So funny. All right, man. Last one. Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh, he was going to be my last one. So Neil Patrick Harris is a pitcher.
Yeah.
But on Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day and birthday.
Right.
Yeah,
yeah. He's like
Day,
the anal
and
sex
Christmas.
of wife.
Yeah.
Like how your wife will let you every now and then you get to the time to play in the chocolate factory. I think like he's King Willy Wonka. It's like, okay, now it's your turn, Oompa Loompa. You can do it today.
Yep.
I really believe that, but he's in control. And I mean, and good for him. Like he's one of my favorite people that ever came out just because it's like he played Barney on fucking How I Met Your Mother and was the epitome of a fucking
he was great.
He was awesome.
And actually, we're talking about a lot of actors and celebrities here. A lot of these people are very, very talented in just what they do. I mean, RuPaul,
unless they take it in the ass per B word.
No. They're still talented, dude. They would do things that I wouldn't. That Robert the Bear only offers in our Discord. So if you are not involved in our Discord and trying to save me from our gay approved friend, you really should be. So check out our link tree and make sure to do that. Also, make sure to check out our Patreon. Get subscribed. We got 2 shows that come out every single month. Hippo Happy Hour, and we also have the Stain Remover. So with that, Jake, what do you got for me?
Thanks for all the dirty talk. Come back and get sanitized.